Genetically engineered mice could revolutionize the battle against Lyme disease on Nantucket, according to scientists who believe their breakthrough might finally halt the spread of the illness. Dr. Timothy Lepore, the island's emergency room physician, has spent over 4 decades treating patients with Lyme disease, a condition that affects nearly 500,000 Americans annually. On Nantucket, where 15% of residents suffer from the disease, the challenge lies in controlling the population of white-footed mice, the primary carriers of the bacteria that cause Lyme. But here's where it gets controversial. Scientists are now exploring a radical solution, engineering mice to become immune to the disease and releasing them to reduce the risk of transmission. This plan, however, sparks debates about the ethics of altering nature and the unintended consequences of such interventions. The story begins in 1926, when the island's community imported 2 deer to bolster its wildlife, a decision that inadvertently created the perfect environment for ticks and mice to thrive. By the 1950s, half the land was set aside for conservation, leaving untamed brush and grasslands that became breeding grounds for Lyme's hosts. As deer populations grew, so did tick numbers, with female ticks feeding on deer and laying up to 2,000 eggs at once. While deer themselves aren't infected by Lyme, the ticks can transmit the disease when they bite uninfected mice. This cycle has been a persistent threat, with cases like that of Shauna Asplint, a 33-year-old who suffered severe neurological damage after an untreated infection. Scientists like Dr. Kevin Esfelt, a pioneer in gene editing, argue that the root of the problem lies in the engineered environment that has amplified tick and mouse populations. We've created a situation where ticks and mice are thriving, and that's why we're seeing the disease, Esfelt explained. His research focuses on CRISPR technology, a tool that allows scientists to edit DNA in living organisms. In 2013, he pioneered a project called Mice Against Ticks, aiming to engineer mice to produce antibodies against Lyme bacteria. The goal? To release these genetically modified mice on Nantucket, where they would be immune to the disease, thereby reducing the risk of transmission to ticks and ultimately to humans. But the plan is not without controversy. Critics warn that altering ecosystems can have unforeseen ripple effects, disrupting food chains and potentially harming native species. A resident of Nantucket who has battled Lyme disease twice expressed caution. Mice are the foundation of the food chain. Tinkering with the food chain makes me a little cautious. Others argue that poison-based solutions might be more straightforward, though such methods could devastate local wildlife. Dr. Lepore, who has been waiting to retire for years, supports the scientists' efforts but emphasizes the need for thorough testing. "We need to make sure the ecosystem isn't harmed," he said. "If federal and state regulators approve," the team plans to begin a small-scale experiment on a private island, allowing them to study the ecological impacts before scaling up the project. The debate extends beyond science. Should we trust technology to reshape nature? Or does it risk irreversibly altering the balance of ecosystems? As the world grapples with climate change and biodiversity loss, this case becomes a microcosm of the broader question. How far should we go to protect human health, even at the cost of nature? Tick bites. This is the microcosm of the broader question. How far should we go to protect human health, even at the cost of nature? John Lepore, Dr. Jonathan Lepore. This is brand new meaning and comes from his latest book. He's the award-winning chief medical correspondent for CBS News. Since joining CBS News in 2006, Lepore has delivered more than 1,200 reports on a wide variety of breaking news and trending stories in the health and medical fields, as well as feature stories on music, lifestyle, and profiles of entertainment stars.